I used to adore New Year's Eve, the countdowns, the midnight kisses, the sense that anything was possible. It was my favorite night of the year until last year. Now I can't even hear the sound of a cork popping without feeling a wave of anxiety. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me tell you what happened. It's a wild story. It all started a couple of weeks before New Year's. Jessica, my wife, had been acting strange. We'd been married for 8 years, and I thought I knew her better than anyone. She was always bubbly and affectionate, but recently she had become distant, almost cold. She would laugh at something on her phone but wouldn't share the joke. She'd stay late at work, and when I asked her about it, she'd snap, "Why are you so paranoid?" It was the classic deflection. At first, I thought maybe I was imagining things, but then I overheard her talking on the phone one night. She was in the kitchen, whispering, and I was upstairs. The house had been so quiet, I could barely make out what she was saying, but I heard enough. "Relax," she said. "He doesn't suspect a thing." My stomach dropped. I had been suspicious before, but hearing her say it so casually, it felt like someone had knocked the wind out of me. Couldn't sleep that night. I just sat there in the dark, staring at the wall, trying to process how the person I trusted most could betray me like this. The next day, I decided to act like everything was fine. If she thought I didn't know, it would buy me time to figure out who she was talking to and what exactly was going on. That's when I turned into a detective in my own home. First, I checked her phone while she was in the shower, locked, of course, but Jessica wasn't exactly a tech expert, and I knew her passcode, our anniversary date. Inside, I found the evidence, texts with a guy named M. There were a lot of them, flirty, sometimes downright inappropriate, and they confirmed everything I had feared. The texts even included details about where and when they'd been meeting, a hotel downtown. And lucky me, there was another rendezvous planned for New Year's Eve. At that moment, I knew I wasn't going to confront her. No, that would be too easy, too predictable. If she wanted to betray me, she would get what was coming to her, and I was going to make sure she'd never forget it. New Year's arrived quickly. Jessica told me she was going out with her friends for a girls' night and that I shouldn't wait up. I smiled and told her to have fun, knowing she had no idea that I'd already booked the suite next to hers at the hotel. When she left that night, all dolled up in a red dress I had bought her for our last anniversary, I waited 5 minutes before grabbing my bag and heading out. I checked into the hotel, set up my equipment, a small camera and microphone I'd purchased online, and waited. By 10 p.m., I had everything in place. They met in the bar downstairs and then went up to the room together. I watched the camera as they laughed, kissed, and toasted with champagne. It was sickening, but I kept my composure. The plan was just beginning. At 11:45, I knocked on their door. Jessica opened it, her face draining of color when she saw me standing there. Behind her, M was shirtless, holding a glass of champagne. "Happy New Year," I said with a smile. "Mind if I join you?" Jessica stammered. What are you doing here?" "Oh, I thought it would be nice to celebrate together." I strolled in like I owned the place. "You don't mind, do you?" I said, watching his face fall as he clearly wanted to disappear into the bed. I didn't know she was married," he stammered. "Oh, I'm sure you didn't," I replied casually. "But don't worry, I'm not here to cause a scene. In fact, I'm here to offer you both a gift." I pulled an envelope from my bag and handed it to Jessica. Inside were printed screenshots of their conversations, photos from their meetups, and a flash drive containing the footage I had recorded that night. Her hands trembled as she flipped through the evidence. "You've been busy," she murmured. "You have no idea," I said with a smirk. "But here's the best part." I pulled out my phone and showed her the email I had just sent to Jessica's parents, her boss, and a few of our mutual friends. Attached were all the juicy details of her affair. Jessica's face turned crimson. You bastard." "Oh, honey," I said. "You haven't seen anything yet." I turned to him. "You better hope your wife doesn't check her inbox anytime soon." His eyes went wide. "You wouldn't." "I already did," I interrupted, grinning. "Happy New Year." I walked out before they could respond, feeling lighter than I had in weeks. Sure, it was petty and vindictive, but damn, it felt good. Betrayal cuts deep, But revenge has a funny way of putting things back in place. As I sat in my car watching the fireworks light up the sky, I thought to myself, new year, new beginnings. Jessica and Em would never forget this night, and as for me, I had finally closed a chapter on a marriage built on lies. Cheers to that. In the days that followed, the fallout was nothing short of dramatic. Jessica tried calling, texting, and even showed up at my office once, but by then, I had blocked her on every platform. Meanwhile, I was getting juicy updates from mutual friends. Apparently, Jessica's boss was none too pleased with the scandal. She had been angling for a promotion for months, but once her affair went public, that was all reconsidered. She didn't lose her job, but it was as if she had. They moved her to a smaller office and piled on the grunt work. Her parents, they were furious. Her mom called me to apologize, saying she couldn't believe Jessica was capable of something so vile. Hearing that from someone who had always defended her felt incredibly satisfying. As for Em, well, let's just say his wife didn't take the news well. Word got out that she kicked him out and filed for divorce within a week. I'd be lying if I said I didn't feel a little smug. Karma, after all, is a beautiful thing. But the best part? Moving on. For years, I'd been wrapped up in Jessica's world, constantly trying to please her. Now I finally had the space to focus on myself. I started working out, picked up old hobbies, and even adopted a dog. Life felt good again, clean, uncomplicated, and mine. A few months later, a mutual friend called to meet for coffee. She had heard from Jessica and thought I should know something. Apparently, Jessica had been spiraling since the New Year's disaster. She was seeing a therapist, trying to make amends, but no one, neither her parents nor her friends, wanted anything to do with her. Do you feel bad for her? My friend asked, genuinely curious. I thought about it for a moment before shaking my head. Not in the slightest. Betrayal changes a person, but it doesn't have to break you. If anything, it made me stronger. And if Jessica is still out there trying to piece her life back together, well, good luck to her. As for me, I've got my own fresh start, and for the first time in a long time, I'm genuinely happy.